What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Spurs Hangout Spot, where we talk about everything San Antonio Spurs basketball, from news, rumors, opinions, and more. So let's get into it. Okay, the latest news is that our boy Vic has been growing, and he has everyone in the uproar about his height and how tall he has gotten. It's a lot of speculation out there right now that Vic is probably around 7'6", 7'7". Just going by the photos alone. Now, when he first came into the league, he was listed at 7'3", which was kind of skeptical from the beginning. A lot of guys felt like he was at least 7'4", 7'5". And I want to say even, I think it was a point when Giannis had made a comment after a game that they played against Vic. And he said whoever said that Vic was 7'3" was lying, that he was much taller than that. So from the get-go, I think we can probably say that Vic was at least 7'4", close to 7'5", coming in the NBA. Now, again, as I mentioned, the recent photos that have been posted lately, claiming that Vic is 7'6", 7'7". And it's a couple of videos on YouTube also with, people kind of taking a guess at his height right now. Now, with that being said, it's a lot of concern over him continuing to grow, which people feel like the more he grow, the greater chance of injury or his career being shortened. And how I feel about that is this: I'm not really too concerned about Vic's growth spurt, mainly because if you go back to when Vic was probably 12, 13, whatever the videos out there are showing, they knew from the get-go that Vic was going to be a pretty tall guy. And so the focus at that point was to kind of, pay attention to his body. And I think at that point, even at a young age, they started to focus on keeping Vic healthy. You can see in a lot of the videos, even posted a day of his workout regimen, even before games in the off season, Vic really puts a lot of time into his body. He really puts a lot of time into certain exercises to keep him agile and flexible. And we can really say you really haven't seen too many people Vic's height that has been that flexible and agile, able to run that quick. And I think that is all because of his training from a very young age, of them concentrating on his ankles, his knees, his legs, certain parts of his body that for taller people may be an issue. So that's why I'm not too concerned about Vic growth spurt, if it is one. Again, we don't know for sure. The Spurs aren't really coming out and telling his true height. But again, from the pictures, it seems like he has grown some. One thing is for sure, he's not 7'3". Vic is way taller than 7'3", so they can kill that right there. But again, for me, I don't find it too much of a concern because Vic really puts effort into staying flexible, staying agile, to make sure that he doesn't, put himself in too much harm. Now, the Spurs did say with him coming into the NBA that they weren't going to rush putting weight on his body because that would increase his chances of injury, much quicker, they're guessing. So you could slowly see the weight gain coming on Vic, but it's not like all of a sudden. It's going to take a couple of years for that full package to be done. So they're being like really, really careful with how they bring Vic along as far as his body is concerned. And that's why I'm not too concerned, because we are much more advanced in medicine and have much more information about, taller people, that they can kind of pinpoint what they need to work on and how they need to work on it and how often or whatnot. So again, I think Vic is going to be fine. I'm not concerned. I'm thinking he's going to have a pretty long career. I know this past season was shortened with the blood clot, but that wasn't a knee or ankle issue or anything like that. That was something internal that happened, which you really can't prevent. So again, everybody, I think Vic is going to be fine. He works extremely hard on his body to make sure he stays healthy as possible. I know there was a rumor going around that LeBron spends like $1 million a year on his body during the off season with his workouts and just making sure he stays in shape. And I can kind of see Vic doing the same thing. I can kind of see him. I don't know if it's going to be $1 million, but you can tell he puts a lot of money into his body with training and his personal training and things he do in the off season to make sure that he's putting himself in the best position as possible to stay healthy. So again, I'm not concerned. I don't think anyone should be concerned. We haven't seen a guy Vic's size come up training the way Vic has come up training, doing the exercises that Vic does. So we really can't compare him to other guys that were tall in the NBA around his height, the 7'6", 7'7" height. So, I think we all just kind of got to like relax a little bit on that and let Vic do what he do. We got this. Let me know what you think. Are you concerned about his height? Are you concerned about the growth spurt, the potential, the rumored growth spurt that Vic has? Let me know down in the comments your opinion on it. But until the next time, go Spurs.